welcome, ladies and gentle germs, to the Gamer Drama Show, Gamer Alert, that's right, hosted by the sexy redneck, that's right, ladies, you like the beard, that's right, your favorite gamer redneck, Sam McGee, with my favorite hunting duck, Skunk, that's right, say hi, Skunk, he says hi. Today, we expose the lies of a failed Bungie YouTuber that has shown more lies than Kim Kardashian's titties. That's right. That's a lot of lies, if you tell me, all right? I tell you what. Now, this certain situation took up right after a situation where Joker, that's right, DSR Joker, also known as Darkside Royalty, appeared on a show with the content creator known as Reforged Gaming, formerly known as Say No to Rage. His name is Lono. Now, there's a lot of controversy with this content creator. So much controversy that it stinks more than a skunk on the side of the road. If you know, you know, I'll tell you what. JIngelhymer, Jingle Balls, whatever he goes by, sat there and accused Joker of being affiliated with Lono, whereas Joker did not want to be affiliated with this individual. He's right, he can do what he wants, but is not affiliated, and this is a lie that was being spread, and so Joker went to Twitter and called him out. And of course, you can't have a Bungie ball fondler not try to come back after being called out for being a liar, so they lie some more, because that's all the Bungie bros are good at, is lying while they take the little jingle balls of Bungie in the face. You know what I'm saying, huh? I apologize to my current and new Twitter followers. Yeah, that's because he doesn't have any YouTube or Twitch followers anymore. No one gives a shit about him. He's kind of irrelevant. So yeah, people like this, they feel all safe and secure on Twitter because they get a couple likes on their posts and they feel like they're hot shit, and they're just a hot shit turd on the side of the road, if you know what I mean. But I need to blow off some steam real quick. Well, you had me at blow because I figured you got experience with that with Bungie. And this kind of rare for me. Yeah, it's very rare for the guy that preaches toxic positivity and sing Kumbaya by the campfire. It's very rare for this guy to ever call people out, even though we know he does it constantly. Hey, remember that time Joker went on Twitter and acted like such an unprofessional shithead towards the main writers of Destiny that they blocked him and his dork fan base because they started getting harassed over a fucking Sparrow lore tab? Now, we're gonna do what Jingelhymer's never done did, okay? We're gonna show you, listen, it's easy to spew out a bunch of false accusations and not actually back it with it. My grandpappy once said, if you're gonna say something, you back it with action. If not, you're gonna end up putting your foot in your mouth. And if you do that with me, I'm gonna put my foot in your ass. That's what the grandpappy used to tell me, all right? That's what grandpappy, listen, words to live by, I'll tell you what. Now, we're gonna show Jingelhymer over here how to actually put your words in action, not just saying random ass shit that they ain't even backed up by nothing. Nothing that's being said is backed by actual information. It's just, trust me, bro, I had a couple of beers and I like to lie out my tits. A good example of lying out your tits is saying that Jingelhymer here, if you don't know, in Ohio, is on the sex offender list for touching a little boy. That's right. You got to be careful about him. See, that right there? That's called slander, which is what he's doing in this comment. He's making slanderous accusations that aren't backed by information. And so that's why you don't do that. But don't worry. By the way, none of everything I said is true. It's an example of slander. What we're about to do is debunk this slander and show them how you actually do your goddamn research, you dumb son of a bitch. So let's jump into it here on Gamer Alert. That's right. So let's start with the first point of this accusation that he done did. So the first accusation, that Joker was unprofessional towards Destiny writers, and because of him, they got blocked. And yet, here we go. The first point, Joker is a lore master. If you don't know, he used to be alongside Bife and some Mylan and all these other lore masters. He used to be amongst them. If you actually look back, Joker actually wasn't just saying anything just about the Sparrow tab. He was actually calling out the web comic book, which I didn't know it even existed, but apparently it did. Apparently, they were making Destiny comic books that had shitty storytelling in it. So it wasn't just that he's already lying by saying it was just a Sparrow tab. It was actually an entire lore of the web comics not being consistent. And it's also being backed by the fact that the writer blocked Joker after he sent one tweet. Now, was it multiple tweets under the umbrella of one? Yes. But was he being hateful? Was he being spiteful? No, he's asking questions about the consistency about the lore. Now,
Bungie into the Destiny universe and the lore enthusiast all came to a head with the now infamous Folklore lore tweet. From the backlash this one tweet got, I think it was safe to say large groups of people invested in the Destiny lore, be it core or casual observers, be it people who read every word ever written, or people that just watch My Name is Bife, were not remotely happy with this attitude, mostly because it comes off as condescending. There was this real atmosphere of, not only can we do no wrong, but if anything we write happens to conflict with the old lore, well, that's because the old lore was folklore. Then entered the Destiny lexicon would be Fall of Osiris issue 2. Now, in between the Fall of Osiris 1 and 2, in the interim of the folklore lore controversy, to ensure that Osiris is actually exiled. But you know what? Hey, let's go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt. Art errors happen all the time. Oh wait, consensus meeting. Head of the consensus were New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, and the Concordat. The future war cult wouldn't be given a seat of high honor. Everything in the comics is canon, unless we mess up. Which Ryan Q. North might, but Hello Kestrel never does. Grimoire is considered folklore, even to the inhabitants of the universe. True as far as they and we know. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, here we have it. Here's what we're being told is hard canon for Destiny 2 and the media surrounding it, in direct conflict with Destiny 1, in a way that cannot simply be left to interpretation. Ghost Fragment City Age is the actual minutes from a consensus meeting. A short list of some of these inconsistencies and presented them to Christine Thompson. After all, as somebody who is touted by their colleagues as never getting anything wrong, while simultaneously that same colleague dismisses the lore people have come to know and love, and starts replacing it with their own lesser continuity, Christine might be interested in seeing some of these errors. When called out on all the inconsistencies, their reaction was to not only shut down the line of communication, deserved or not deserved, but then to go back and answer the critique in an isolated fashion that removed one of the parties from the debate. And then the response falls apart under the most basic scrutiny. The stories being approved and made part of the Destiny 2 lexicon read not as if they were written, edited, or approved by a group of people with an intimate understanding of the lore and the world of Destiny, but by people who I would argue have a super understanding of Destiny from only playing the game. Destiny 2, Destiny 2 The Curse of Osiris, and Destiny The Fall of Osiris comic book, by and large, are a heap of missed opportunities and wasted potential, ultimately signifying nothing and exploring even less. So why does any of this matter? Why is any of this important? The story, the lore. It's the fundamental bedrock that any universe is built upon. The lore and the history are just as significant, if not more significant, than the events currently at play. History and lore shapes the characters. History and lore shapes the events to come. When you play fast and loose with aspects of the narrative, with aspects of the lore, with aspects of the history, not only are you doing a grave injustice to the fans, you're doing a grave disservice to yourself. You're taking the easy way out, and maybe that's the point. The tensions between the people who like the lore of Destiny and the management overseeing and approving the current stories that shape this universe that we're all invested in comes from the perception that the fans are vastly more invested in the universe than the stewards of said universe. The current iteration of Destiny 2's storytelling suggests that somebody is merely doing what they need to do in order to collect a check at the end of the week, or that they're not really interested in telling Destiny stories.
So much so that even My Name is Bife called that shit out.
I don't want a Bungie that sits on its laurels, you know? From what I have seen, and Joker, you actually made a fantastic video exposing some of this stuff from Glassdoor and just saying, hey, this is a thing. If everything that's been said by the ex-employees of Bungie is true, if it's true that the company has a culture of being very high and mighty and being a bit holier than thou and resting on the laurels from Halo, they need to get that notion out of their head right away. They need to ignore that, abandon that, because they need to acknowledge that whilst Destiny 2 financially was a success, it is a PR nightmare. And not listening to communities has been one of their biggest problems, and I do not want them to get complacent, because these are issues generally across the game which need to be addressed for the long term.
If you're not a lore nerd, which, by the way, you ask anyone in the Halo community, the Elder, Dark Souls community, and any other game that has rich lore, they're very dedicated to their craft. So this is very disingenuous of Jingle Banner, of him going through and saying it was just about a lore tab. No, son, it was more than just a little sparrow tab. It was about the lore in a grander scale than just a little tab. If that was it, it wouldn't be no big deal. I don't know about you, but sending one tweet to someone asking multiple questions isn't called harassment. It might be annoying as fuck, and you don't have to deal with that for sure, but it ain't harassment unless it's just an ongoing issue, which it wasn't. It was just a one tweet deal. So here we have his over dramatized slander to try to make Joker look unhinged when he's just a lore fanatic, which is something that happens in multiple video games. Of course, if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and you're a grifter in the community, then you're just spewing bullshit. But the reality is, as you'll see as we go through these, it's very obvious that this Jingle Banner dude is more jealous that he's not successful, that he's a nobody, while Joker is a somebody. So the next point we have, and then he made a video on the whole thing, acting like the hero of the Destiny community, and called out the writers by ensuring they would receive even more harassment, and said that the only reason the lead female writer got the job was because of nepotism, ? The result being he made it that much harder for people to have an actual conversation with Bungie writers, ? So let's talk about the first thing. If you actually watch the videos, there was 2 videos that I seen about him talking about the situation, and there's no evidence. In fact, if you ask this stupid son of a bitch where he got the evidence, he's gonna say, trust me, bro, there's no evidence. You could watch the videos. In fact, the link to the videos are down below for you to check out for yourself. The nepotism part is nothing more than a personal accusation. It's not backed by jack shit. Not once did he ever accuse the writer based on nepotism. Let's be honest. And the third point, there's a difference between criticizing something and calling them out, trying to get them, hate raging. Who the fuck doesn't tag people with criticism? Hell, it happens all the time when you repost someone, you jackass. Oh God, you're harassing me. You're harassing me. Well, it's just criticism. You can give criticism as long as you're not being, insane and doing death threats. And the fourth point is very funny because Joker actually in these videos tell people not to harass the writer. It very distinctly says, do not harass them. Like, what are we saying here? It's in the video. You can't argue against that.
I was promptly blocked. And you know what? Before anybody goes out of their way to contact her or harass these people, don't do it. That's stupid. Just don't. Just don't. This is fair. This was fair. You engage in whataboutery, you get treated like somebody who just engaged in whataboutery.
And then they threw a massive tantrum all over Twitter and YouTube because he's the dark side royalty, didn't get invited to the Bungie summit. I watched the video. This claim is overblown. He does mention in another video encouraging his followers to encourage Bungie to invite him, but mostly because there wasn't any substantial, representation of people who are going to be critical about the lore. He was afraid that they're going to get a bunch of kumbaya, let's shake hands, people like Jingle Banner, who are going to sit there and, grab ass with each other and say, Bungie's the best that there ever was, instead of actually giving critical feedback.
I've actually been rather clear about that in regards to not giving a shit whether I'm flown out and wined and dined and taken to preview events. I don't like flying. It's a hassle. It's time away from my wife. And I don't care. It's a bother. And I'm probably one of the only people in the world that actively thinks that. So there is that. And I need to make this absolutely positively clear. If this was just an event to go out and see DLC 2, I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't. Bungie has never really revealed anything for DLC that I was like, you know what, man? Ugh. I just wish I was flown out so I could play that early, so I could tell the world about it. No, if you watch their preview events, they have a horrific problem of showing everything, and you can pretty much guess how the DLC is going to pan out. Leaders of the Destiny community and going, hey guys, we're in deep shit. What can we do to fix the game? The people that they're flying out to this event so far are the same people they flew out to the Destiny 2 event and said it was great during the preview event. They're the same people that they flew out to go see Curse of Osiris and said Curse of Osiris was amazing. Are we supposed to believe that these people are going to be able to convey with any level of eloquency how this game needs to be changed? I am the only person in this community with an audience that has consistently, over the last year, seen change after change after change being implemented into Destiny 2 since the reveal of the game and said, no, that will break the game. Inviting the same people over and over and over again. The people that told you it was A-O-fucking-K when you first showed it to them, and then made a YouTube video after YouTube video singing its praises, only to, what, a week or two later, make another video saying, yeah, you know what, we're quitting Destiny, and expecting a different outcome, is the very definition of insanity. And to be clear, this is not to begrudge any of my fellow content creators. I'm sure they're all great and wonderful people. And that might actually be part of the problem. Now again, to be absolutely, positively clear, Bungie doesn't owe me shit, and I like it that way. And nothing will ever change that. But they do owe you. And if you want to see me right there with the likes of Dr. Lupo, True Vanguard, M-Tash, and Slayerage, representing you, the Darkside Royalty community, let Bungie know. The links to all of the community managers' Twitters will be in the comments below. Don't harass any of them, please. Just make your voices heard.
Which then follows up with his next video calling out Bungie because they lied. Go figure, Bungie's been lying for years, and they lied about having someone from the lore community represent, because there was no one. Bife, Mylan, there's a whole video showing that no one was actually representing the lore community about, Destiny in the summit. So this is a nothing burger. Sure, you can say, it's a little weird to kind of push yourself in the picture, but at the same time, the irritation that lore, community is not being represented, that's a big deal, and I can respect that.
Look into my shiny black visor and imagine my surprise. In the weekly update, Deej had this to say about the super special awesome Bungie Summit to bring together the greatest minds of the Destiny community to finally fix Destiny 2. Deej states, we've invited cooperative raiders, competitive warriors, lore lovers, and a high school principal to make sure they all get along. Oh, fucking really now? You invited the lore community out. Okay, I'll bite. Who? No, really, who? Bife? Bife's not going. Mainland Games isn't going. I'm sure as hell not going. Hold on, let me check my inbox. Yep, no, I'm not going. And the last time I checked, if you YouTube search Destiny lore, the first 3 recommended channels are My Name is Bife, Mainland Games, and of course, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, yours truly, the one, the only, the wickedest Joker in all the land, Darkside Royalty Lore. But okay, you know what? I could see where Bungie might want to get a newer perspective. Maybe a smaller channel. Bife and Malin have already been out to several different events, and they've given their opinion on the state of the game, and I'm so blacklisted, I don't even think I'm allowed to step foot in Bellevue, Washington. So, let's see. Perhaps we can think of a smaller YouTube channel, a lore enthusiast, maybe somebody like, I don't know, Bearded Grizzly? Oh wait, no, he wasn't invited either. But you know what? That's fine. We're just YouTubers. If it wasn't for the likes of, say, Ishtar Collective, cataloging and recanting the lore to you would be very difficult. So maybe they got the invite. I mean, they do provide an integral service to the community. Oh wait, imagine my surprise. They're not going either. Okay, well, maybe the OG lore master, Sir Wallen? No? Fire Focus Chat? No? Ghost Stories? No? Handsome Dragon? No? Terramanus? No? Any member from the Destiny subreddit? No? So, if I'm not going, if Bife's not going, if Malin's not going, if Grizzly's not going, if Terramanus isn't going, if Ishtar's not going, if Focus Fire Chat's not going, if Ghost Stories isn't going, if no one from the Destiny lore subreddit is going, then who exactly from the lore lovers community is representing the lore lovers community again?
Hey, remember the time the design lead of Destiny 2 came out and said no Twilight Garrison dudes, and then got sent such an insane amount of harassment death threats that he had to delete his Twitter account, and Joker made a video about it, basically telling the design lead, welcome to the internet, maybe grow a pair. But hey guys, listen, don't go to Reddit or Twitter, harass names design lead. That's wrong, guys, don't do that. What the fuck are you talking about? Because he showed the tweet of Kevin Yates, the one talking about it. Bitch, I could Google who said the comment and Google will find the tweet. What are you talking about? Guys, he showed the comment on his video. He's endorsing harassment. Are you that retarded, son? By the way, he made a video talking about this very specific situation. Yeah, he's right. People did harass Kevin Yates, and that wasn't acceptable. It wasn't acceptable to sit there and send death threats. That's not okay, especially over some stupid exotic in a video game. We can all agree, as human beings, that's not acceptable, and that's derangement syndrome. Point two, Joker never harassed Kevin Yates. Not once. Even in his video, he never even suggested that Kevin Yates get over it. No, what he did instead was get on to people for being loony, saying for the exact same reason JIngelhymer over here decided to, make a comment about Joker, making writers not want to talk to the community. Joker said that in one of his videos, specifically saying that this behavior is going to push people away and not let them have a conversation and listen to the community. It's literally in his video.
Recently, Kevin Yanes, lead sandbox designer for Bungie, was harassed off Twitter. For what, you may ask? Well, Titans will never get air dodge back, my guy. It's part of the Warlock identity. Sorry, but I just want to rip that band-aid off. That did not go over well. Kevin Yanes is no stranger to what I would call bizarre and seemingly out-of-touch takes when it comes to the state of Destiny. This is the same sandbox lead that did not understand the implicit value of freezing someone in a game that was about running and gunning, because his ability to perceive freezing was not as easy as one could perceive a golden gun, because a golden gun just fucking deletes someone. His quote, not mine. Now, I shouldn't need to say this because I'm sure all of my YouTube followers are wonderful and well-behaved people, but it's one thing to hear these takes, or read them, as the case may be, and find that they're out of touch. And I honestly do believe that Bungie as a whole, when it comes to the game's state and the content released, can be catastrophically out of touch with its core player base. It's one thing to be understandably upset about Twilight Garrison never coming back, to voice frustration with that, to disagree with design choices. It's even one thing to point to something a developer said or an argument that they made and say that that argument or that quote is stupid, or to meme on it. It's another thing entirely to attack the person, to wish them ill will or harm, which is entirely unacceptable. And it doesn't help, right? Because I do think that there's a conversation to be had to explore why the community went off the way that it did. This wasn't a couple of people getting mad because an exotic wasn't coming back. This was thousands. Thousands of players don't just snap because everything is G in the H, right as rain in the game, when a developer says, no, you can't have your toy, unless it's a straw that broke the camel's back. That doesn't justify anything. The reaction was still psychotic, and it hurts the conversation more than it helps. Because now I have to preface the entire conversation with, don't harass the developers, don't contact these people, don't engage with them. Kinda derails the conversation, don't you think? And it's sad because there is a desperately needed conversation about how grossly out of touch Bungie is with the player base. And this could have been a great catalyst for it. But instead of having that conversation, I have to voice my displeasure with a community that comes after me in much the same way because of my opinions about the game, and tell them, hey, jackass, it's not okay to tell developers to take a long walk off a short pier. But why did this happen? Is it because suddenly thousands of fanboys became unhinged monsters? I don't think so. Destiny right now is in a weird place. It is once again in the midst of an identity crisis.
And what's even funnier is that, yes, Joker talked about the situation, but mostly he was showing, hey, you can be upset with Kevin Yates because his comment made him look like a douche canoe, very disconnected from the community, and how he said it. Yeah, you know, fuck him for that, but don't do death threats, which is fair. You can criticize the developer for sounding tone deaf, while at the same time not threaten their life. Go figure. And he did. He showed, hey, this is how you properly criticize someone, give feedback without being an idiot. The specific claim about Joker's video is incredibly misattributed and exaggerated just because this guy has a hate boner for Joker. This is a perfect example of Jingle Banner lying and being deceptive and trying to make Joker look bad when he was never part of this conversation in that regard. It is a lie. It's slanderous. Hell, at this point, you might as well say he's Kim Kardashian's pussy, how fake he is. I think the biggest thing that annoys me about Joker is that the past 10 years, he's acted like the villain Destiny deserves. He tries to come off as the super edgy in your face. I say what I want, how I want, and fuck a man. If you don't vibe with that, that's cool. But just like Lono, he's completely ostracized him from the Destiny community because everyone sees how much of a shit-eating dork he is because he's such a narcissistic jackass. He has never taken an inward look at himself and realized his attitude, and the way he holds himself is off-putting. Joker, you don't have to like it, me. It's whatever. It's really fucking funny, I have to say right here, is that this is the true Jingle Beamer. That's right. Jingle Beamer right now is taking his time to actually reveal how he feels. He just doesn't like Joker. And that's fair. You don't have to like him, just like I don't like you. I think you're a pile of shit. That's irrelevant, which, by the way, compared to Joker, you are an irrelevant piece of shit. No one knows who you are except for your Twitter buddies who sit there and like you hearts. Guys, I feel so good about myself. I feel like a fucking Care Bear because people are liking my comments on Twitter. I feel like I have a personality, even though no one gives a shit to watch me because I'm a failed YouTuber. It's not about real harassment. It's not about what he's done. It's about the fact that he is a pussy. That's right. Instead of acknowledging and saying, hey, I'm toxic, Mr. Positivity. I don't like that you are criticizing the billion-dollar company that I've been fondling the balls off for 10 years. I don't like that you're criticizing them. They're my daddies. I don't want you criticizing them. Instead of being honest about it, they're sitting there lying like a little pussy, making up fabricated stories, slandering, making up bullshit. You can't respect these people, which is why no one watches his ass anymore. Also, no dipshit. Everyone has known about Joker. Hell, even Boff has made jokes about his edgy, conflicted nature. If he was that much of a problem, he would have never been part of that lore community, but he was because he was popular. And the only thing he's ostracized is from the Bungie bros who sit there and circle jerk everyone like you do. Which, trust me, no one wants to be in your community. That's for damn sure. Then Jingle Dinger decides to call him a cowardly little rat. Of course, you wouldn't have the balls to tell someone to their face that you're uncomfortable being on a podcast with them and just leave the podcast. How about instead of throwing a tantrum over something you're blowing out of proportion because a few replies to my post hurt your feelings and have nothing to do with what I said, take your own advice and grow a fucking pair. First off, if I'm invited as a guest to a podcast that I want to be a part of, I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't give a fuck who's there. I may not be happy about that they're there, but I want to be on this podcast. I'm going to be there. Let's just say it. And you can't speak on behalf of Joker. I'm not speaking on behalf of old Sam McGee, but you can't speak on behalf of Joker and know how he felt, how he thinks. That's all on your subjective nature. No one gives a fuck about what you think. You're the one that wasn't fucking invited. Hell, you're not in fucking anything invited except the asylum. It's ironic that you say that he is a rat and he sounds like he's throwing a tantrum. Bitch, you're the one throwing a tantrum. You're the one making a paragraph long reply. You are indeed throwing a tantrum because you got your butt hurt. If this isn't bitch boy energy, this is it right here. This is the perfect example of bitch boy energy. But then again, call someone a coward, then you mute them because you're a little pussy. That's right, because you know, if you actually had him up and saw what he had to say, you know, you get your cheeks clapped by him. That's right, because he actually can bring arguments, whereas everything you've said has been a nothing burger, just spewing bullshit. Actual evidence to support your claims. You're just saying, I don't like you and I'm just gonna make up bullshit. See, Joker's a nice guy and he won't say things, but I don't mind being an asshole. I don't mind saying what needs to be said, especially when you got little pussies over here sitting there playing little positivity kumbaya by the campfire. Thank you for your service, whatever it was, and continue the right and freedom of the Americans to enjoy bears, titties, and calling out fucking retards like you. God bless America, and go fuck yourself. Until next time, we'll see you in the next Gamer Alert. As always, game out. Isn't that right, skunk? Damn straight.